Okay, so hi guys, this is Dahlia Deering again. I just wanted to bring you guys some more information about the two audiences that children's book authors have to write for. It's very, very important that we keep that in mind. I know a lot of times that we write children's books and we think to ourselves, oh, every little person that word was not going to come out, y'all. But anyway, we think to ourselves, every little person needs to hear this message, and I'm going to write it, and I can't wait to get into all the homes in America. And that is true. That is awesome, and I hope that happens. However, before you get anything into any little person's home, you're going to be met by some big persons. And so those people are the people that you need to write to first. Yes. So you have two audiences. You need to first write and appeal to parents and the people who are buying them, and then two, you appeal to the little people after that. So you wanna keep that in mind as you're writing books. Now, how does that work? You take a concept that you think a little person needs to hear, and you make it as easy and as chewable as possible for that little mind. Now, if you are a parent or an educator already, you have inside knowledge, okay? But still, you want to make sure that you are marketable and it has an angle and it has a group big enough to fund and push this message all across the world to people so that people can hear it. That's one of the biggest things that happens. Sometimes we have this burning desire and passion for a message, and because we know and we're seeing it from our point of view, we have this message in our mind. It's so big. It was such a huge thing to us. We automatically think it's going to be a huge thing to other people. And we do think of reasons why it should be, and it could be relevant. However, you still want to make sure it's palatable and desirable, because a lot of times some of the messages that we need to hear are not messages that we want to hear. And so if you find yourself addressing one of those messages, you may find yourself not finding a lot of people who want to hear it. So you want to make sure that you are appealing in every way. So you want to write your core message, figure out what your core message is. You want to make it kid friendly. You want to use language that kids can understand and parents can use as a teachable moment, and it really drive home your message. But you also want to make it fun and palatable. You want to make sure that you're doing that, because again, the further your book goes, the more children it can reach if that is your purpose. A lot of times it's funny how I meet a lot of other independent authors or people who are thinking about becoming independent children's book authors. And their first thought is, if I can just print the book and get it out there, whether people buy it or not, I would feel better because I know I wrote it. If that's the case, love, write it on your refrigerator and walk past it every day. Yeah? Like, you want your book to reach as many children as possible if this message is that vital to you that kids have it. So in order to do that, you may have to take your message and make it more palatable, not manipulate it, not change it, but you've got to figure out a way, you've got to be a salesman, figure out a way to how to make this message become applicable or appeasing, or there's words that I'm not getting, appetizing to the core markets that you're trying to get it to. So again, we're starting off with the big people, okay? So my first advice as a first-time children's book author is figure out what type of author are you. And I hate to hear that. I mean, what do you mean, what type of author am I? I write children's book. I write for kids. Yes, but what is your overall message as an author? What do you think that your books can cover a range of things? Dr. Seuss's books covered a range of things. However, he did have a core and key message. You've got to figure out what that is for you. I'm a huge Dr. Seuss fan. I felt like his books were typically and like totally about things can be bigger than whatever it is that you see. Your life is as great as your imagination is what I get from him. Everything is about how big this is. He uses words that don't exist, and he brings kids into these crazy scenarios because life is an adventure and you have everything you need to get on it right up here in your thinker. That's what I get from him. So that was what his thought was. That's how he put that out there. That's what he drove in. That's how he attracted kids, adults, everyone. But you could tell who his core audience was from that. This is my opinion. This is Dahlia Dinner's channel. Okay? Don't get on here acting crazy. You're not about to argue with me on my channel. So I'm telling you what I think, and I'm here giving you advice. So don't start arguing with me. But no, your feedback's welcome. No, I'm just playing. But what I will say is, yeah. So you got to figure out seriously, as an author, though, what is your message? What is it that you're trying to get as an author? And you don't have to do this all at once. If there's a book in you that you want to write, by all means, write it down. Write it. But once you write it, then keep these things that I'm telling you in mind. How are you going to appeal to these parents? How are you going to appeal to these little people? Nobody's denying your talent. Nobody's saying that your message isn't vital. What we're saying is it attractive? We buy things that are attractive. All of us, let's just assume we all go to work and work hard for our money. And we want to spend it on things that we find attractive. How do you get put in that basket? How does your message do that? It's no different from giving people medicine and things that they need. It still needs to be done in a loving way, so that it can be accepted. That's all I'm saying. You've got to figure out how do you do that, okay? And so again, I don't know if you've watched my other videos, I'm going to repeat my favorite quote. In order to sell John Brown what John Brown buys, you have to first see the world through John Brown's eyes. Do research on the people that you are trying to write and appeal to. If it's children, if it's parents of a certain age or a certain type, you want to do the research on that. And I'll give you an example for it. I have had, and again, I want to make sure I'm being politically correct. I am in no way speaking as someone who knows. I am not singling anyone out. I am simply giving my first thought as a person, as a author, or as an author, on what I feel about a specific subject for me and my writing. Okay? So with that disclaimer out, I have had the pleasure of meeting and spending a lot of time with certain children who have been diagnosed with autism. Okay? Some of the brightest, most just interesting kids I have ever met. However, initially, I thought to myself, I'm going to write a book about them. And I'm going to do it because I want to spotlight them. I want them to be great. I realized quickly, though, that I don't know enough about them. I know what my experience was with them, but I don't know how much of that I experienced can even be attributed to what they were diagnosed with, how it affects them individually. I didn't have enough knowledge. I don't want to speak on or single out or say the wrong thing because I lack knowledge. Even though my intentions are good, I know that might not be a lane for me because I don't know enough. This is my personal opinion, and I could easily offend or hurt someone trying to help. It matters more to me that I don't do that than getting my book out there because I thought I would just write a book. So I personally have opted to wait, not saying that I will not write on it, until I feel a little bit more educated on that, until I feel like I've done enough research, until I've got a better understanding of it, until I feel like I know how it will be received by both my John Browns, by my parents, and by the children I'm writing for and about. So I said that to say, we've got to decide sometimes if we have a message and we have an intention, if we are coming and we're writing about this thing from an educated point of view. Does that mean you have to have a PhD in autism to write a children's book about it? No. Does that mean I couldn't have written a book and it probably would have done well and wouldn't have, offended anybody or whatever? No. However, I personally, because I'm building a brand, I am a children's book author, and I want to do this for an extended amount of time, I didn't want to risk getting any backlash out the door. And again, hurting or offending anyone without any more knowledge. I just felt like that is something that I needed to do. And I owed my message and my audience that much. If I care so much and I want to write to them and write about them, and I want to list that particular diagnosis in what I'm writing and attach that angle, I should at least do the research behind it to understand exactly what I'm doing. That's just me. I think that that's responsible for me, of me as an author. So I'm passing that knowledge along to any other author that is writing. If you are writing a book, remember you are writing to two different audiences. You're writing to parents and you're writing to children, and you need to find your angle. But whatever angle it is that you choose to find, you need to be diligent enough to do the research. And yes, you can decide, I know enough about it, I've got this, and in that case, go right ahead. But personally, if this is an investment, if this is a part of your life's work, if this is a sharing of your gift, take a little time. Take a little time. Do a little investigation. Figure out a little bit about what you're doing outside of what you already know, to ensure that you're doing things right. And if you've already written a book and you think that, I'm sure I didn't offend you, I know this is right, then yeah, shop it around. Get people you trust to read it, that are in that niche, that are directly affected by this. And it helps a lot of times that they don't know you, because people who know you will automatically take your intention into account, and they will blow right past any red flags that could really offend someone who doesn't. So all I'm saying is do some legwork if possible. Is it necessary? Do you have to do it? You don't have to do anything at all. However, it would be, to me, responsible and helpful to you and your brand and whatever it is that you're going to do next as a children's book author if you did. I think that would be helpful. I say that to say, I've seen a lot of people who have written children's books. And some of them, you can tell that they just want to make more money. And I say that because, say we find somebody that we just love, our favorite makeup artist. And I mean, she is an awesome makeup artist. And she comes out with a makeup artist book for kids. And you buy it. When you read it, it doesn't have nothing to it. It ain't taught nothing. It's not fun. The pictures ain't big, but you want to support, and she wanted to be supported. In that case, go Matt. You wanted to support, buy anything she has. She wanted to get the information out there and give you something to support. Done. But at the same time, if that makeup artist had done a little research or hired somebody to say, hey, I want to appeal to children and I want to write this book for kids and talk about it, and it really, truly, honestly be kid friendly, it would have been a different type of book. It would have had a different type of appeal. It maybe would have had a longer longevity, not to say that it won't. But I guess my point I'm trying to get at is, you can do a lot of things to say you did them. But what type of legacy and what type of purpose is this children's book that you're writing serving? This is quick, temporary money that you just need right now, then don't even bother writing a children's book. Do a low content book. Do a coloring book. Do an activity book done the same way that you write a children's book. Like, there are ways to do that. But if you're serious about being an author, if you're serious about using your talents, if you feel like I really want to do this and complete this project, then do the research. Take a little time. Yes, you have an awesome talent. Perfect your craft. Stretch yourself. Figure out different topics and things that you can write about and make them interesting. That doesn't mean you have to publish them, but just give yourself some what's the word? I'm saying bandwidth out loud for lack of a better word, but that's not what I mean. But I'm just saying figure out what you need to do to appeal to the groups and the I don't like this video, I'm stopping it.